Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on New Zealand Sports Radio. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And in the news today, we'll be covering cycling with the SBS Bank Tour of Southland with stage two in that one, the prologue and the second stage now, or two stages. Also, we'll be having a chat about the Volta a España. It's been the individual time trial after the rest day. And we see a change in the leader's jersey yet again in that one. We'll bring you up to date with rugby news, as well as, unfortunately, we've had some COVID tests for the upcoming internationals up in Europe. Also, Sports New Zealand are looking at appointing a new CEO, with the rumours as to who that might be. Also, we'll bring you up to speed with how the Melbourne Cup went yesterday, as well as also some boxing news from the heavyweight division. Let's kick off then with the SBS Bank Tour of Southland. And in the second stage, it all finished up in a bunch sprint. The climb two-thirds of the way in to the stage wasn't enough to break things up, and also there were no strong winds either for crosswinds, so it all ended up in a bunch sprint. And congratulations to Corbin Strong from Team PowerNet, who won the sprint there. He is the world points race champion as well on the track, so doing it on the track and also on the road. So congratulations to him. As it all finished in a bunch sprint, there was no change in the overall, with Aaron Gate retaining the yellow jersey there. Things, though, are in for a shake-up today, as the stage 3 goes up into the Remarkables. They'll be leaving from Mossburn Community Centre at 10:30 this morning. If you are around that area, I want to see them leave before climbing up to the Remarkables with a long and it's the first big climb of the tour. It's a 6K climb at the end of the 111 kilometre long stage. So I say, expecting a shake-up in the standings for the SBS Southland Tour to report on tomorrow. Over in the Volta a España, and the good news was that the fourth round of mass testing there all came back negative. On the rest days, they do test all the riders and also all of the staff on the race, and that came back as negative, with 681 tests carried out. So that's got to be that's good news there. Into the actual racing, and it was the individual time trial, and as expected, Primoz Roglic took time off Richard Carapaz and won and took over the overall classification. He now leads by 37 seconds ahead of Richard Carapaz, and Hugh Carthy is still in third place at 47 seconds behind Primoz Roglic. A good ride from him. Saw him finish fourth on the stage. At 25 seconds behind Primoz Roglic, because Primoz also won the stage as well by 1 second ahead of William Barter of CCC team. He had to sit for an hour and a half in the hot seat as he set the early fastest time, and what a shame that the second to last rider out was the guy to beat him by just 1 second. What heartbreak for the CCC rider there. Moving on then, and more COVID news in the boxing. The Alexander Povtic's rematch with Dylan White for the WBC interim heavyweight title has had to be postponed, as the Russian boxer has tested positive for coronavirus. It was supposed to happen on November the 21st in London. But obviously that now cannot take place, and they're looking at rescheduling that for January there for that one. Pogatic did knock out White in their first fight back in August, and obviously this is the rematch there. So let's hope he recovers fully from that. Also in COVID news, unfortunately, 3 of the flying Fijians have tested positive, and a further 3 players have gone into isolation there. With Fiji taking part in the Autumn Nations Cup, this new 8 nations tournament, rugby union tournament up in Europe. This isn't great for them. They do have a warm-up game this coming weekend, so we'll have to see whether that will go ahead. Obviously, we will keep you up to date with those results here on the morning sports briefing. Also in rugby, don't forget that this weekend we have the another, I believe, the 4th Bledisloe Cup game between the Wallabies and the All Blacks on Saturday evening as well. That's the main international action of the weekend. Yeah, looking at grey skies outside. Thank you, Aaron, for our daily updates on the Auckland weather. Yeah, we've got grey skies here in Hamilton as well. And I put my washing out yesterday and it got rained on, but luckily it dried before I got home. So that was good there. Moving on then into the Melbourne Cup, which the race that stops a nation. And it definitely seemed, and also it might have stopped Australia. It seemed to also stop New Zealand as well. Lots of people following this one. Congratulations to Twilight Payment, who won the race and took it on early, and then managed to hold off its chasers. The Kiwi horse, the chosen one, held on to 4th place in the race, and because it was an outsider. That was a decent shot by the chosen one, winning 350,000 Australian dollars for finishing 4th. So not a bad day out for the horse there. But congratulations, as I say, to Twilight's Payment, who won the race. And that is you up to date with all the important sports news. Oh, sorry, no. One other piece of sports news I forgot to talk about. Yes, was the Sports New Zealand is looking at appointing its new CEO as Peter Miskin resigned in August after 12 years in the role. It looks like Raelene Castle is going to be is the front runner for the role of becoming the first ever female chief executive. Raelene Castle, previously head of netball in New Zealand, the Bulldogs over in the NRL, and then most of us will remember her from the being head of Rugby Australia for 2.5 years, losing that role earlier this year. So it looks like currently she is the front runner to take that role. It's understood that Katie Sadlier, the from World Rugby's head of women's rugby, was also interviewed for the role as well. She's over at the moment working on the 2021 Rugby World Cup that's being hosted in New Zealand, obviously in the next year. So yeah, it'll be interesting having Raelene Castle, clearly someone who has had a controversial kind of roles at Rugby Australia and the Bulldogs, has been in the limelight, and perhaps a more public figure than previously the Sport New Zealand's CEO. So we'll have to see how she. Well, first off, we have to see whether she gets the role or not, and then if it becomes a more public role in the media, as I say, definitely much more active in the media than we've seen Peter Miskin being over the last 12 years. You are now up to speed with all of the important sports news. Don't forget to join us at 7 a.m. Tomorrow morning for the morning sports briefing. Oh, don't forget also that it is State of Origin this evening. And that means we have moved the standoff to Thursday, to tomorrow evening at 8 p.m., where Brad will give you your weekly league fix. Also go through all of the State of Origin news and results, and go through the game itself. Also, we hopefully will be able to announce an exciting interview that we've got lined up as well for the standoff show. So do join us at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. That's Thursday evening for the standoff show.